Good morning, everyone. For the last month and a half, I have teaching myself a little bit of Python by using ChatGPT and starting to write a mining tutorial, mining simulation game. So what have I learned in the last month and a half that I thought that could benefit someone just trying to get into it? The first thing that I want to start with is by using the different code editors. So there are different code editors you can use. I started off using a specific one. I was told at a later stage maybe move to another one. So what I'm using at the moment is called VS Code. VS Code on internet, you can go and look for VS Code and you can have a Visual Studio code editor. I have also been using Visual Studio. Visual Studio is just a more advanced version of Visual Code. Visual Code is great in the sense that from the application itself, I don't have to go to terminal and look for the actual Python file that I want to run. I can run it straight from the code itself and my operation will start. That's the first thing that I've learned. Second thing that I've learned is ChatGPT makes a lot of mistakes. I have been using ChatGPT to write some code for me, to check some code for me, and let's just do a quick test and see if I can come through. So I want to write a quick Python script for a 10 by 10 grid that I can click on and be able to hide and make visible. So I'm going to be going and say, give me Python code for a 10x10 grid that I can click on. So yeah, mind my spelling. By now I think ChatGPT has managed to figure out that I can't spell and it hasn't sworn at me yet. I'm expecting it's going to be happening anytime soon though. So it's giving me code now, so I'm going to go back to my Visual Code. I'm just going to go to File, New File, and I'm going to call it a Python file. I'm going to take the code that I've just received from ChatGPT. Let me just follow that over there. And where's my ChatGPT? So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it in there. And I'm going to run it from here. And I just need to save it as a file quickly. So let me just move to a random place. Let's call it ChatGPT test. ChatGPT test. Save. Right. So now I can click on it and I've got a clickable grid. And this is where most like 2D games and things start off with. So while you're going to be working with code and working with ChatGPT, for example, if you want to use it to write code and fix code for you, there are many things, and your code base is going to start becoming 2,000, 5,000 lines long. You can't give it the entire section and say fix this for me. You start breaking up into smaller sections. So that's the second thing that I've learned. ChatGPT makes mistakes. Make sure you've got backups of everything that you've done before. The third thing that I've learned is actually how to access Python files. I just thought in the past, yeah, you go and double click on it and it should run, but that's not an executable, so that is still a Python file. So if I look at my actual project directory that I'm working in, there's a file called side.pa and it's sitting in my local disk DMS project side. So if I did not have a editor to run it in here, and let's go and open up with a different editor to show you the difference. So I'm going to go back to my Explorer. I'm just going to go and open file location, and I'm going to open this file but with Microsoft Visual Studio, for example. I'm going to wait for Microsoft Visual Studio to open. And this is also a very powerful code editing tool. You can choose which one works for you. In here, it does not have an automated run function, unless it does. If it does, please let me know. But I'm going to go and, for example, open up the terminal, and I can access this specific Python file from here. So I'm going to go and scroll back to my DMS project folder, change directory projects, change directory side, and then I'm going to be calling up the Python file called site.py, .py, which is the file that I've just written, and I can start the game from here as well. The third option that I can do is I can also start the file from a normal DOS window. So in Windows you can open up Windows PowerShell, or you can also open up by clicking on Command, your Windows button, CMD. You can open up your command prompt. Command prompt will open up. Change directory to move back to a previous directory. So I want to open up my DMS directory, I want to open up my projects directory, and I want to open up my site directory, and I can call in python site.py, and you can launch the game from there as well. So that's the third thing that I have picked up, and I can switch between the three of them. The last thing that I want to quickly cover on is actual Python itself. And again, if you've been using Python for many years, this will be very basic knowledge. But the idea is, in terms of structuring your code, and it's still a work in progress, is that the way that code generally is structured within Python itself is starting with your basic variables, where certain things within Python that you're going to be using, like pygame, random. So if I want to make sure that I've got pygame installed to be able to use it, I will go to my terminal window and say install pygame, and it will tell me that it's already satisfied. So whenever you do get code from ChatGPT that says that you must use pygame, you need to go and install it first, and then you'll be able to start using it. So everything that I would start off with that I need in my code, I will start at the top. The next bit of my code are all variables, so things that stays, like image importing of variables, images, button definitions, what they look like, colors, and all of those. The next bit is generally logical, and the way that Python does it works on definitions. So you'll have many definitions that gets created as you need, and these definitions then start talking to each other. You'll call up one definition, it might be calling another definition. The definitions will be calling up variables that you've stored on top. So you'll start off with variables, definitions, and then the last bit of your code base is your main gaming loop. So the gaming loop is where everything that you've defined up the top, in terms of the many definitions, is how they will all start interacting with each other. So for example, is that I will have a gaming loop that will tell me when I click on specific buttons what they should do. So if I see a splash screen for the start game, what should happen? If the game is running, all the things that should happen within the game itself. And then you've got in the game loop, that's where, for example, specific things like rendering happens of the specific buttons, a sequence of how they're all explained, how they're all made visible on the screen itself. So again, being a month and a half within Python, it's still very much learning, but I thought that these four items has helped me in terms of getting from absolutely nowhere to getting a fully fledged mining simulator game with screens that I can click through, buttons that's working, upgrades, context menus that's working. If you would like to see any specific part on how I got here and how it all works together, please feel free to leave a comment below. I am more than happy to sort of get in touch with you and get more videos up like this, to show you from basic, from zero, by using ChatGPT, by using Python, to be able to get a basic game out. So thank you very much, really appreciate your time. Until next time, happy mining, happy gaming.